Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Steven and welcome back. Alright, so this video is a more or less a video response to um, a question that a YouTube user asked me. Basically, a YouTube user who goes by the name of Focus Chick, shout out to you, and thank you very much for leaving, the positive, touching and moving feedback on the video I did, um, 10 things I like and dislike about being light skinned. I was actually pretty kind of nervous putting that video out because I was afraid that people were going to interpret it in a negative way. But so far, like, the feedback has actually been positive. Oddly, I kind of was expecting something a little more negative, so I was a bit hesitant to release the video. So thanks a lot to not only Focus Chick, but also all the users who left comments, positive comments about the video. But YouTube user Focus Chick asked me my opinion on a video that's on YouTube, and I'll leave a link to the video. But basically, the video is entitled LBRS Light Skin versus Dark Skin Common Stereotypes, right? And in the video, there's like a panel of like young African American men and women, and they're just going through and talking about stereotypes. And some people I saw in the comment section, right, like someone had posted something like the ignorance in this video or something like that. Like, the comment section of the video itself is like, people were not feeling this video, or a lot of people weren't. It was like, the ignorance in this video is disgusting. Like, yikes. The bad hair comments and the dark comments, very disturbing. No one, wow, this is hard to watch. A lot of self-hatred is rooted in the men who projected onto the women. This video is embarrassing. Black people have a long way to go. And there's a lot more comments like that too. But actually, this video has a lot more thumbs up than thumbs down. And I will say that they are actually being pretty forthcoming. I will give them that. It's not like in a politically correct way, but they are being honest at least. And I do think that's important, because it's one thing, like, it won't really get us anywhere if we're like, oh yes, everyone's equal, I like everybody. We have, like, in order to really get somewhere, we have to be able to be honest, and from there, like, explore and analyze, okay, why do you feel that way though, right? So I don't totally knock their candor, although they did get a little ignorant, up in that video. And I took some notes, and I'm going to go through some of the things I noted. Okay, so right off the bat, Miss Chocolate Thunder refers to her, that's how she refers to herself, or one of her nicknames or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's a theme that I noticed in this video, and not only in this video, but through, like, society, like the black community in general. The women, especially the dark-skinned women, like dark-skinned people, but dark-skinned women especially, seem to refer to themselves as chocolate. And I understand where that comes from, but sometimes, I give people the side eye when they refer to themselves as chocolate, because we ain't chocolate, right? Of course we ain't, but I'm saying, like, we are not confectionery treats though. That's the thing. Like, we are people who have skin tones that perhaps are reminiscent of chocolate, even though black people existed long before chocolate. So technically chocolate has our skin tone. Well, not our skin tone, but you know what I'm saying, right? But that's the thing though. It seems like sometimes we feel the need as a community to sort of like make dark skin a bit more palatable by saying chocolate. Y'all calling it chocolate, like, oh, that's chocolate. Like, You could probably do a drinking game off of the times they say chocolate in this video. Uh, and let's see. Next, dark skinned captain. That's the name of the dude, or one of his nicknames anyway. Who was kind of like more or less the leader for the dudes, because it was like kind of like one woman, you know, who was kind of like the leader for the women, and the dude was kind of like the leader for the dudes. So he called himself the dark skinned captain. What the? All right, whatever. Okay, one thing I noted that the light-skinned male representation could have been better, but also the light-skinned female representation could have been a little bit better too. I really felt that she didn't really contribute that much, but then again, when you're a light-skinned woman, do you really got to contribute anything? You just got. That's the thing too. You just got to show up and look pretty if you're a light-skinned chick. I tell you, they will bring you. Black men, especially dark-skinned black men, will find a way to make use of a light-skinned chick. But yeah, the dark-skinned chicks were really putting in the like input, and then like the in between, like I sometimes call it peanut butter. Not to fetishize it or to make it more palatable, but just because I don't really have another word to call it. Yeah, but I actually did a video about the term chocolate and how it's used to kind of like fetishize people's skin tones and whatnot. I guess I can leave a link in the description if you're interested in watching it. Not pretty popular. Not a popular video. All right. All right. Next. Next on this list I got. Okay, I talked about that. Okay, so a stereotype. Dark-skinned girls are humble while light-skinned girls are stuck up. And I think that applies to both the dark-skinned dudes and dark-skinned men as well. It's like, that's something that kept reoccurring in this video, that stereotype. Like, oh, they're conceited. Light-skinned people are conceited. And me personally, I don't think I really fall into that stereotype. If anything, I need probably some of this conceitedness and some of this arrogance and cockiness, honestly, if I'm being honest with myself. But I do hear that come up sometimes, But the thing is, like, the dudes don't care if the light-skinned chicks conceited. They're like, whatever. That's the thing, though. They be playing into that, though. The dudes, especially the dark-skinned dudes, be playing into that. That's why probably they are stuck up and like act that way, because some dude done gassed them up. And by the way, light-skinned girls have been gassed up way before 2008. Let's keep it real. You can do a whole video about the history, in the media of light-skinned chicks, being used as the face of black women. Like, oh, we need a beautiful black one. Light-skinned chick, here you go, But, oh, we need a ratchet, angry black woman. Dark-skinned chick, here you go. Y'all know how that goes. All right. Oh, it's like, oh, you cute to be a dark-skinned chick. I heard that come up too. And I can understand like that. Yeah, that is like, yeah. And to the dark-skinned women who may be watching this video, have you personally ever experienced someone saying something like that, or a variation of that? Like, oh, you're pretty for a dark-skinned chick, or you're pretty for a dark-skinned woman. Do people actually say that? I'm thinking that they do, because I tend to hear this a lot. I just never heard anyone say that. But I can understand, dark-skinned women feeling some type of a way about that, because it really does speak to how maybe dark-skinned women are viewed as a collective, right? It seemed like, oh, you're the exception, right? Typically, dark-skinned women aren't beautiful, but you're the exception though. Like you look good though. You know, you look good for a dark skinned chick. So I can understand a dark skinned woman feeling offended by that comment. And someone did bring up a good point. Like people never say like, "Oh, you're pretty for a light skinned chick." No one ever says that because light skinned women are stereotyped as being beautiful, right? So it's like, oh well, we don't really have to like, well, like that when people will probably kind of be like a bit like, I don't know, if you were to say that actually, oh, you're pretty for a light skinned chick, I think people would find that a little odd for you to say. People would. And I think that's because of the media representation, right? Because there's always like light skinned chicks popping in the media. You know, you the music videos, the movies, musical artists, television shows, you know, the models, some models too, right? Okay. Next on this list, um, light skinned girls got light skinned or got attitudes because they light skinned. Okay. So apparently your skin tone determines your attitude. So in that case, then okay, can we just apply this to all skin tones? Like, well, you know, those dark skinned men are really aggressive, so I understand why the police act the way that they do towards them, right? Because apparently these stereotypes are true. Dark skinned women, I guess they must be very angry, you know, very jealous, very bitter, because they're dark skinned, right? Even though it's not, you're not exploring the, it's like you don't pop out of the womb with a whole set of personality traits, right? They're developed, right? Typically. Your experiences within your family, within your community, society, school, all these different experiences help develop your personality, right? And I think when it comes to this, like light skin versus dark skin, well, if you like, if you're being told that you're so pretty all the time and you're getting this media, you know, confirmation and exposure, then you may end up feeling some type of a way about yourself. You may end up believing your own hype and thinking that, yeah, I am so, like, I am all that. I am the ish, you know? And I think that's kind of like one good thing about the switch up between, you know, light skinned dudes being quote unquote out, you know, like we're just like, you know, clothing or like a fashion trend or something. And dark skinned dudes being in. I think that that is part of the good thing, like, because we can see that we can see how the media works, right? Look how the media has worked in favor of dark-skinned men, but look how it has worked against dark-skinned women, right? But it wasn't always like that with dark-skinned men, though, right? So the people who say like, "Oh, the media doesn't matter," you know, it's not important. How you feel inside is that's important. You know, it's you need to have your self-assurance and self-esteem from within. You know that crap, right? But again, these are the same people, like the people who say this be getting the media exposure though. That's the thing. They're not starving for media exposure usually. Like usually it's like some light skinned chick or some dark skinned dude trying to shut down a dark skinned woman for bringing up some legitimate stuff, right? But on to the next. Light skinned girls don't text back, and then that dark skinned girl was like, they'd be telling me or saying that I'm acting light skinned when I don't text back. I guess no, I don't know. That's a bit of a weird one. I don't know. I'm just gonna be like, whatever. In the big scheme of things, we got bigger fish to fry than checking like you're a light skinned girl. Did you text back today? We got bigger fish to fry here. All right. Let's see. Since 2008, light skinned girls have been getting gassed up. They've been getting gassed up way before 2008. Come on, let's be real. But they're young, so maybe that's just in their experience, right? But way before 2008. Come on. Um, okay, one of the dudes on the panel, the darkest dark skinned dude actually on the panel, right? He said something that is something that we should take a look at and we should analyze. He said like he doesn't really mind the shade of woman that he has, or that the woman that he has, right? But he doesn't want a woman darker than him. And he is pretty dark skinned, but I do kind of like I feel like that's while they're based on his position, that gives him a lot of options when it comes to women, right? But we should be able to, let's go into this comment for a second. I don't want a woman darker than me. How come? You know, that's and I'm not sure if that was asked or not, or if it was, it wasn't really given a decent answer. But yeah, and I have heard that, thrown around throughout the years, like maybe like, oh, two dark skinned folks, like, oh, maybe a dark skinned man feeling some type of way about, being with a woman who is darker than him or dark as him. I've heard that, I've heard that before. Um, but where does that come from? Like, that's the thing. Like, I perhaps can have a theory, but a dark skinned man who feels that way would be the best person to answer that question. But could we get an honest answer about that, though? You know? Because I don't ever hear like a light skinned dude saying, like, oh, no chick's lighter than me or light as me. But perhaps it's different. But then again, I guess, I don't know. Maybe it is different. Yeah. I have a theory about why that is, but I think it's something to do with maybe perception, how people may look at them like, oh, it's two dark skinned people together. Oh, perhaps, oh, we might have like, we're going to have dark skinned kids, perhaps, like maybe not wanting to, like, I guess, be associated with dark skinnedness, even though he's dark skinned. But it's like, well, if he's with like a light skinned woman, then it's a little different because it's like, oh, it's a dark skinned and a light skinned person together, cool. But then like two dark skinned people, it's like, oh, I don't know. It's difficult to say. I'm obviously, my positionality doesn't give me that, you know make me privy to that information, so it's difficult for me to really analyze, right? But I do think it's something like that, though. It's like something about perception, I think. Perhaps something about children as well. But I think for him, it may be something about perception, how he is perceived, right? Two dark skinned people together might not be quote unquote a good look versus like him being with like a lighter skinned woman, right? That's maybe more of a quote unquote good look, perhaps. All right. Let's see. Okay, the light skinned dude with the self proclaimed quote unquote bad hair said that he didn't want a chick, or rather, he wanted a chick with good hair, or quote unquote good hair, right? You gotta have good hair, right? And for me personally, a quick sidebar, I've been trying to sort of like, you know, like de-brainwash myself, if that's a word, or unbrainwash myself, decolonize my mind, and trying to like, make an effort to like associate, like, for me, like if I see someone with dreads, in my mind I say that's some good hair, because really it is though. That's the thing. Like I kind of like I would like to have dreads, but I can't have dreads. And the thing is, like, the hair on top of my head is like really thin, and it wouldn't really dread well. I would probably have to get like some weave, a weave in like dreads or something to go on top of my head if I wanted dreads. This part could work, I think. But that's the thing too. Like, I'm looking at, like, at folks with like dreads, and the dreads going like, you know, like all the way down their back too. I'm like, whoa, like that is like very like beautiful and regal. And as well, like Afro textured hair too. Like, I personally like do think that is good hair. That's, and I'm not like just saying this to be politically correct or anything. Um, if I didn't feel this way, then I wouldn't have brought it up. All right, but I really do think it's good hair, though. We've been taught that it's bad hair, and perhaps I think sometimes in the way that we manage our hair may make it look a certain way. I know when I was a kid, my hair wasn't really managed that well, and I think that may have contributed to people having certain opinions or negative opinions about my hair. And I had been thinking about maybe possibly doing a video about kind of like the hair journey I went on, you know, and find like being able to come to embrace, my hair texture, and because about for almost 2 years I did grow my hair out, like, and if you look at some of the thumbnails on my YouTube videos, you can see like, the progression of it too, and as well as trying out different looks and hairstyles too, you know. So perhaps maybe I might make a video about my hair, my hair journey I went on, right? And as well as my relationship then and now with my hair texture, right? Perhaps. Okay. But yeah, I kind of like, and then also the dark skinned dude who was the leader of the dark skin or the men or whatever, he had said something like, "Oh, well, I got bad hair and I need her good hair to you know, fight my bad hair," or something like that. I'm like, uh, really? Okay, so we on this good hair, bad hair ish, right? What we getting from that? Like, what makes hair good and what makes hair bad? I think bad hair ultimately is hair that's not healthy. That does not look good on you. Unhealthy hair that does not look good on you is bad hair. Hair that is healthy and looks good on you is good hair, right? But I think people think it's good hair when it has a certain texture with it, right? Yeah. But the thing is, like I said, like, probably the more coarse your hair is, the more, hairstyles you can actually do with it, right? But what do I know? On to the next. Um, let's see. I guess someone said dark, but not too dark, right? I'm not sure why. Someone doesn't want a woman who's dark is good, but not too dark. But what is too dark? I guess it depends on the person, right? Let's see. Okay, next. Light-skinned men versus dark-skinned men, attitude and their mentalities. And, the leader of the dark skin, or the leader of the women, was like, Miss Chocolate Thunder, right? She was like, dark-skinned men are humble and light-skinned men are conceited. And she said that's like 50-50, right? In her personal experience. 50-50. Okay. While the other girls on the panel made it seem like it was just like, that is law. Even though some of these women on this panel have been stereotyped themselves, but they're still kind of like falling into stereotypes, or like believing stereotypes themselves too, right? So I think that's a bit hypocritical, you know. um, let's see. And one of those young ladies on the panel said something that really sort of, took me aback, right? Really had me like side eye. She said that she would skip over a light skinned dude for a white dude, right? So she would like, and one of the dudes on the panel did kind of bring this up, like you want. I think you should be careful with that. You really want to go for a white dude over a light skinned dude. And I guess let me put it out there and ask this question to the black women out there. All right, considering all that we know about light skinned men and all that we know about white men in general, right, in totality, right? Would you rather, you know, date, marry, procreate, go the long mile with a light skinned man or a white man? And that's the thing. I'm like, okay, you rather deal with this white man who could possibly be like a white supremacist on the low versus this nice skinned dude who may be conceited. Conceited white supremacist. Conceited white supremacist. I think I would rather take, personally, if I was in this situation, I would rather take my chance with a conceited person than a white supremacist. But what do I know? You know? But it seemed like she was not really woke anyway. So if you ain't woke, you probably do be thinking some bullshit like that. Okay. Next thing. Mixed girl on the panel. The lone mixed girl. She was like, basically she ain't have light skinned dudes back, right? Even though they were stereotyping her as being conceited too. She was like, well, yeah, light skinned dudes in my experience have been conceited too. But she could have at least followed it up, because I can understand if this is her experience, and I don't want her to lie about her experience, obviously. But I feel like she could have backed it up and said, well, that's a stereotype, because, not all light-skinned people are like that. Like, I'm not like that, right? But she was just like, yeah, again, light-skinned folks, light-skinned women do not have light-skinned dudes' backs. That has been clearly evident, not only in this video, but just in society in general, right? They don't really feel like, I don't know, they don't really feel like they should be having light-skinned dudes back. But then again, do light-skinned dudes feel like they should be having light-skinned chicks back? I don't know, But I will say that I kind of do, I guess, call out light-skinned women on their BS sometimes, at least a few times in the videos that I've posted, Not all light-skinned women are on BS, but the ones that are, right? Okay, one girl was like, I don't want no dark-skinned man who be acting light-skinned, be acting conceited, right? It was like we making these, like, connections between, like, skin tones, like, and applying personality traits, negative personality traits, based solely on skin tone, though, right? So if a dark-skinned dude is conceited, arrogant, cocky, whatever, oh, that's a light skin. Oh, he really like a undercover light-skinned dude. What sense does that make? Can I? And then one dude was like, well, why can't he act like that? And then the girl was like, well, why would you want to act like that? Which is true, but I guess maybe he was feeling like, well, do dark-skinned dudes not have a reason to feel arrogant, cocky, and full of themselves, I think that may have been where he was hinting at or going towards, which is like, well, are you perhaps implying that dark-skinned men don't have a reason to be feeling like they arrogant or cocky? are conceited versus the light-skinned dudes, you know. And let's see, last thing I got on my list is, and something that was actually pretty um, a good point, but the dark skinned dude who was like the leader for the men was like, kind of like we do, kind of should stop making these generalizations based on people's skin tones, right? And then he did bring up something like, oh, dark skinned men are dangerous, right? And then he did bring up something about like how that factors into police encounters too, right? So it's like, well, considering what we have to go through outside of the community, perhaps we shouldn't be so quick to have these thoughts about people within our community, right? And I will agree with that. You know, we should. It should be like that. But, I don't totally knock these people on this panel. Well, they're young. But I will say that they were being honest, and honesty is important in these conversations, right? Honesty is important. So I will give them that. They were being honest. A little ignorant, some ignorance in there, right? Some ignorance. But I will say that they were being honest in this. So I don't knock them for that, but ultimately I'm not sure if this was like really this particular conversation itself in this video. I don't really think it was extremely productive within the context of the video, right? I think it's productive as a whole. It's like their candor is productive, but I don't think they really got anywhere too much within the video itself, right? So at least from this video, we can get more of an honest view, that more of a like candid and honest viewpoint. But within the video itself, not really. So that's my video response. I hope you enjoyed it, Miss Focused Chick. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I feel like it's Focused Chick. Yeah, Focused Chick. For some reason, I thought it was Focus without the ED for a sec, but then I'm like, well, I'm not sure that really makes much sense. So yeah, shout out to you, Miss Focused Chick, for requesting a response to this video that's on YouTube. So thanks a lot, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you watched this actually. It was a bit long. It's a bit long, but again, thanks not only to Miss Focused Chick, but also to the other people who watch and comment on my videos. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate the feedback, comments, the support as well. Thanks a lot. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.